Hey Uma, very good afternoon to you. We are here to celebrate our journey together over the last 7 months and celebrating your efforts, the way you have put forth consistent efforts, over the 7 months, and being very open-minded to learning new skills and feeling super confident now compared to how you were 7, 8 months back. We're definitely going to delve into it, but how does it feel to be here, Uma?
Uh, Frankly, it's been a very mixed kind of a journey because initially I was quite not very hopeful because this has been a very long, tough journey for me. But now today I feel that the skills that have been shared are so much part of life that I think now it feels like, I feel at peace that there are so many skills that I have become part of my life. And so I would say that from where we began today, I feel more calmer about the whole process because I was never calm about it. So that itself has, uh, calm about the skills that I've learned and the fact that they are part of my life now.
Wow, sounds really liberating, from the space that you were in when we met. And just to give a brief introduction, I'm so sorry I should have started with this, but Uma is an accomplished Bharatanatyam performer and she's a national awardee, right? And, very, accomplished with what she does, but somewhere she had a lot of difficulty figuring this out, figuring her lifestyle and consistency, eating habits and all of that. So Uma, I remember we had a conversation about 2 years ago, 3 years ago actually, and at that
Yes.
point in time, uh, we discussed, but somewhere you said, "Hey, this is not for me." And I know you went through a couple of diets, and then we met again. I think last year, and that's when you kind of decided that this is for me, and I'm done and dusted, trying out so many things. I need something that is long term and sustainable. Before we get into that, Uma, can you share a little bit about yourself for the audience?
Yeah, sure. So, as you rightly said, I'm a Bharatanatyam dancer by profession, and I'm also a singer. And I have a daughter. I'm a single parent. I have a 14-year-old, a teenager, and I have been in Chennai for the past 22 years. And primarily that is my identity, being a dancer, primarily an artist, a performer, a teacher. And other than that, now of course a single parent, which itself is a great role, I would say. And my parents, on and off, they keep coming and going, and my in-laws are just around to help and stuff like that. So that's how that's my support system, and I have a lot of friends and family to help. And that is what my life comprises of. And
Thank you.
I travel a lot, and yeah, this is what basically I am. Yeah. So.
Thank you for that, Uma. And for people who are watching, Uma is an amazingly strong person. She had to overcome so many struggles of her own, challenges of her own. She came with a very strong mindset, but little did she know the beliefs and the mindset relating to food were actually interfering with her choices. So, which we kind of unraveled through this journey. And before we get to the other aspects, I want you to share, Uma, what was going on for you in terms of your lifestyle and health related challenges when we started working together?
So, uh, so physically, I would say after 2016 or so, I gained a lot of weight, physical weight, and probably type. I would only like to, attribute it to probably a lot of stress and stress of taking up a lot of things all by myself. I mean, each person responds to it differently, and so that my one of the major issues was physically not being able to lose a lot of weight. But eventually, I realized that it was not just that; it was a lot to do with my relationship, my rapport with the food that I goes inside, which was very what do you call it? Not very healthy, because I've always being in the profession that is more, it talks about, it shows you, as a public figure, and you're always in the eyes of the public. I think I've always was scared of being judged. So my relationship with food was very, very toxic, I would say. And so that didn't really help me, though I would technically try to go on diets and all that, but it was not in a very healthy mental state. So that's where I began with you.
Mm.
And that was my biggest challenge. And but I didn't realize that the physical losing has majorly to do with what went here. So that is where I began. I was not happy with what was going in, because I myself was judging myself. I think I would say that I was very judgmental about my own self. So yeah,
So
that's where.
thanks for sharing that, Uma. So couple of the goals that she had for herself was building long-term sustainable habits that she can sustain for life, improve eating habits, build consistency, and feeling better about yourself. I think you were in a very, very stressed state, and somewhere you had recognized, Uma, that whatever efforts you were doing were not really helping you. You were already on that journey. I remember, right, Uma? When we began, you were already on the journey to kind of tone down some of the activities, start focusing on yourself, prioritizing yourself. And I think this program just kind of seamlessly flowed into that thought process of yours.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
And you had a lot of gut issues. I remember acidity, bloating.
Yes.
என்ன
Yeah.
சாப்பிட்டா என்ன problem அந்த ஒரு awareness இல்ல அந்த timeல.
Absolutely.
You went through a lot of issues relating to that, apart from the toxic relationship that you had with food. So they absolutely didn't go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You wanted to gain more confidence in terms of the choices you are making, not doubting yourself time and again, being
Yes.
confused. இது பண்ணா ஓகேவா, இது சாப்பிட்டா ஓகேவா. A lot of myths that we busted along the way. And
Yes.
you wanted to have a structure and system in place for your meals so that you could put together consistent eating habits,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And better mindset to keep moving ahead. Again, kind of squashing those old beliefs that were getting in the way, reframing your mindset to see what is the right way to keep this going rather than get stuck. That was
Yes.
something that we worked on, right?
Absolutely. Sustainability also was one thing, and thank you for reminding so many things, because I think over the period I've almost forgotten what my issues were, but I think these were all the issues that I was really facing. Also adding
Absolutely.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
what I
So,
mentioned. Yes. I think.
and also body image was big, Uma. I remember when I broached the subject, like, hey, Uma, do you feel ready to kind of tackle this at this point? You said, hey, that's really big for me, and I'm not ready to tackle it right now. But I'm so happy to say that you are at a space now where you're kind of where it's not stressing you so much as it used to. We're going to talk about that also. And also having the relationship with exercise, not seeing it as a way to compensate for what you ate, burn it off, burn off what you ate, but seeing it separately as something that you really enjoy, the way you move your body. And again, being a dancer, that's very important to you, right, Uma? Having that flexibility, mobility. I think movement solves more problems for you than for a normal person, right? So super. So let's talk first about your mindset, Uma. We tackled setting boundaries, saying no. Naraya mindset related stuff that we worked on right off the bat. So can you talk a little bit about that, Uma?
Yeah, I think one major thing was, as you just mentioned, about knowing what I really want to do, and going forward and saying that this is all I want to do, this is I cannot do. That was a huge challenge, and that that reflected even in the what went inside as food or as thoughts. So it was a huge challenge, because I always took on a lot without realizing that I'm not really maybe able to do justice to anything. And I'm just doing it because I want to be this one image of a person who can do so many things. But I wanted to, this actually somewhere this program told me that it's okay not to always be proving something. but instead being kind to yourself and saying, okay, this I can do, this I cannot do. So அது அந்த cannot doங்கிறது வந்து பரவாயில்லை, அது அது சொல்றதுக்கு I really think this program helped me, because before that I really did not think that was possible for me. I was always a person. See, there is something called this one toxic positivity that we see in people. I mean, yeah, you can do a lot of things. And it is a very good positive attitude, and which has helped me earlier in my earlier situations, probably somewhere where I was in a situation where I had a very not very happy situation which was happening in my life. But then there it might have helped that no, I will do it, I will do it. But over time, that becomes a habit, and you stop analyzing what are you doing really. So எனக்கு வந்து இந்த ப்ரோக்ராம்ல என்னமோ somewhere in talking to you, and I realized that I think that is something I need to stop doing, and I started doing that, and only then I realized that I could focus little more towards myself, towards what I really want to do. So that belief system, of having to always prove and say this I can do this, I can do this. We all can do many things, but we all need to know how much we really need to do. And burnout was one issue, and I learned to help myself not get burnt out. That was something I learned slowly, because I think the base of it all is, you always say that be kind to yourself. But so that is actually, kindness helped me be more consistent, because if I would not be kind to myself, I would always, either it will be do or die situation. பண்ணுவேன், பண்ணலன்னா அப்படியே batter பண்ணி I will not do it. There was no via media, and then I would batter myself. So all those things have really streamlined a lot, I would say.
Wow.
To,
Awesome,
yeah,
Uma.
to
Thanks
be
for
able
sharing
to,
all of those. Right?
yeah,
Understanding your stress load, very, very important. As women, we are capable of doing a lot, right? And we
yeah,
also already push ourselves to do so many things. Compromising our own health or our own needs, and at the end of the day, we feel miserable. We never took care of ourselves, right?
yes,
That is where the
yes,
problem lies. So to actually step back, recognize what you're capable of handling, and saying no, not being a people pleaser. I think that was very important for you, Uma.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
you were a people pleaser. You are now stepping into an identity that, hey, yes, I do certain things at some points to please some people, and that's because of my own choice and agency, right? And not
yeah,
because my identity demands it. But there are also times where I actually can say no, and I'm okay with that.
absolutely.
Identifying that
Yeah.
was very important to you,
Very
Leah.
important. Yes, very, very important. And I'm sure that process has made a lot of people think that, oh my God, she's just, she's just arrogant, or she's just changed. But I know what I have gone through, because that change was important for me to be calm and peaceful within, so that I could focus on myself. So I
Mm.
think it's been it's been a game changer. I'm sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, the impact of it was so deep that it freed up so much mental space for you to focus on yourself, Leah. And
Yeah,
I remember
absolutely.
even early on, I think within even a month, you said, hey, suddenly there's just so much clarity, and that some space has emptied in my head now,
Totally, totally, totally. My
I
headspace,
totally remember that.
yeah, it's like I've removed all my tenants away and said, "Okay,
Clutter.
I need the house for myself."
Nice. Second important thing was quitting that perfectionist mindset, Uma. Right? I know you've time and again told me how, as a dancer growing up, you were told this is how things have to be. And even within your own dance, you've kind of broken out of those stereotypes, Ilya, even within that sphere. And
Yeah,
outside of it also, right? So
yes,
let's talk
yes.
about that, Uma.
Yeah, so as I've said, being a dancer, you're always under the public eye, which is not any different now also. But what could be different is how you view it. So yes, there have been times when been criticized for how I look after a certain point. And yeah, I understand that as a visual art, there are certain aesthetics that need to be kept up to, and I completely agree with that. But then that is only one part of you as an artist. So that, to understand that and to accept that, has taken me a long time. So this I think that this is where I have now gained that clarity that yeah, that might be part of one part of me as an artist, but there is much more to me as an artist. So even today, if I would, somebody would say that, it is not the stereotypical ideal body for a performer. But I think what has helped me is to understand that that is me. I mean, this is what I'm made of. I'm very different from you, so I'm sorry. If you don't like it, it's your problem. So that mindset, actually frees you a lot. Like, you feel so liberated about it, and yeah, you will always be loving, yourself. You have to first love yourself to get there. So that process, I'm slowly, I'm kind of in that zone right now. But that doesn't mean that you're loving yourself is not being careless or non, either about it. What do you call careless is one word I would think. That's not what we're talking about here, but to say that this is what I love my movement, I love my, whatever I'm doing, I love my consistent workouts, and I love to post things and keep people asking, did you move today? I love all that. I mean, actually, I would say a lot is inspired by you also, because you kind of keep giving these things out. So I love it. But then this is what I made of. That acceptance is very difficult, especially when you're in the public eye. I think that is what has been biggest, what do you call it, changeover. So I would say that has helped me a lot.
This is really amazing transformation, Uma. Not easy at all. This kind of work, the internal shifts that you cause, and then we realize how seamlessly the actions flow from it. Right? There is not
Absolutely.
much resistance, and the free. You feel free. You're not no
Totally.
longer bound by societal standards or how a performer needs to be viewed. So I'm curious to hear, Uma, from breaking out of that stereotype that people had about you and you had about yourself, from breaking out of that, how has that impacted your dance performance per se today, compared to probably 8, 9 months ago?
Um, Frankly, I think it's more in the mind, right? As I said. So physically, I have always, I am still trying to push my boundaries and, trying to see how differently I can move. But again, the fact that I can still move lightly is something which is there. And I mean, I'm very sure, I'm very aware of that. So that is my USP, I would say. So I stick on to that, and that gives you, so and this mindset plus that ability to do it gives you more freedom to move the way you want. So I think I'm just sticking on to that, and I think I would probably say I'm still figuring ways to make it better.
Hmm.
So this mindset is really helping me to do that. So today, if I were like earlier, if I was not able to do certain movements, which generally is expected of people, I would be like very, hard on myself. But if I say today that that's okay, I'm figuring my body out in a different way. I'm sure there may be people who will say that, oh, that's a defeatist attitude, but I don't think so, because I think we have to just accept the way things are today and then work around it. That's life itself, like that. Nothing is the way you want it to be, ever. So you work around what is there. So today, this is what my body and my mind is, especially my mind is in this state. So I'm working around it. And I think that gives you more freedom to think. And I also love theater. So I kind of
Hmm.
want to, and I'm exploring. So I think it's beautiful. Mindset has really helped me to steer away from all that more so.
Awesome. So again, the first thing is acceptance, right, of everything, of your capabilities, of the way your body is. First, that has come in. Second thing is, of course, self-love, loving yourself, which is helping you take care of yourself in ways you never thought you could, in
Yes,
terms of fueling your body, fueling your mind, whatever, fueling your soul.
absolutely.
Just immersing yourself in the art form without boundaries has been very freeing for you, which has
Yeah.
helped you explore your creativity, explore boundaries that you thought was not the norm. இல்லையா? So அந்த ஒரு freedom you've got.
Definitely.
And it's just making you enjoy what you're doing even more because you're not bound by your own mindset or old beliefs. Right, Uma?
Yeah, I think that's very important because there have been many points in this journey of mine, not this journey with you, but my journey as an artist, where the very thing that you love to do, you start hating because you are not fitting into certain stereotypes, and then you start battering yourself. And then I've been through all that, and now I'm like, that shift has been a huge blessing now. I mean, now the mindset. See, everything. I think that really boils down to a lot of kindness, because நம்ம கைண்டா இருக்கோங்கிறது, that doesn't mean you are being lazy or anything of that sort. But I think it's very important to know this is what you can do. Okay, do work around it. That's okay. That's fine. But you're still doing it. You're showing up. That and the showing up has really helped me a lot. Today, that is what is helping.
Super spot on, Uma. I mean, embracing imperfectionism, right? Not being, it's okay to be imperfect. We are all imperfect. Everything around us, everybody around us is imperfect. Why do we set such high standards for ourselves and beat ourselves up about it? Right?
I actually have read a
So,
post where they said that why do we think we need to be an Einstein or a, Picasso or Michelangelo? Why can't we just be you and me who just loves to create art? And I think that's stereotypically when one would say, "Oh my God, I want to be I'm so inspired by, I want to become like this, like that." That's a very beautiful thing. But I have realized that I think each one of us is a star. We can shine in our own light. We have to just tap into that light. So that is something I'm just loving, that space today. And that's okay. This is what I can create. You love it. You want to be part of that light. You come and be part of that light. So, but each one of us has a space in the galaxy. So
that is so beautiful, Uma. Thanks for sharing that. I'm sure it will resonate with everyone that is watching. So, embracing imperfectionism, letting go of perfectionist mindset, being flexible with yourself. How important was that for you in this journey, Uma, in terms of being operating with that flexibility with yourself?
Yeah, it was very important. I didn't know it in the beginning. I learned it over the time with you, because I always associated being flexible with myself as being lazy. I had this in my head. Oh, நீ வந்து flexible இருக்கேன்னு நினைக்கும் போது நீ வந்து excuses கொடுக்குற, நீ வந்து இப்படி பண்ற. But I realized that no, it's not that. I have worked hard when I need to work hard. But then it's important, your mind also, to be flexible. But I never gave myself that chance earlier. Now I know that flexibility helps a lot. Uh, in in making the right choices also. Sometimes you may not be able to make a choice that you have wanted to make, but then the fact that okay, there are other options, and how do you still go in the same path with different options, ங்கிறது வந்து I have really learned it now. Because even like small things, இப்போ வந்து earlier, இப்போ வந்து பண்டிகை இந்த மாதிரி வந்தா ஏதாவது ஒன்று சாப்பிட்டோம்னா I know for a fact in the back of my head I will be so heavy about it. Oh God. And then I'll associate it with something else. இதனாலதான் அதனாலதான் இது. So I think it's unnecessary here. We have to really. So that flexibility, like, okay. But this morning also I was thinking of you. At one point my niece is here and she got some snacks, and I was like, okay, I just popped one in, and I was like, okay, today this is what you've enjoyed it, it's done, that's it. Go to the next. So I think that is for me it has been a very important thing, because I've been very hard on myself where these things are concerned. I mean, the other areas also have been very hard generally itself. So for me to like soften a little bit, now it's important. So I think this is really, I'm very happy with this kind of
Amazing.
mindset today.
Amazing
Flexibility.
space, Uma. Letting go of that rigid mindset, the rules that we set for ourselves can be so freeing, so de-stressing. Other important thing, I mean, all of these aspects that we are talking about are the secret sauce for unlocking consistency. When we talk about consistency, it's about being flexible with yourself. It's about being proactive. It's about putting on a hat which makes you think of failures as feedback and not as failure. What are you learning from this? How can you improve? That constant self-reflection. That is something that we worked on, right?
Yeah.
Using your own mindfulness and self-awareness to keep reflecting and understanding, gaining insights about your behaviors and see how you can do it a little bit better, maybe 1% better the next time. You are going to progress, right?
Totally.
Losing perfectionism. Again, that's the secret to unlocking consistency.
Yes. Yes.
Do imperfectly. That's absolutely fine. If
Yeah.
you cannot be a 10 every single day, you're going to burn out. It's okay to be
Absolutely.
a 1 sometimes. It's okay to be a 5, as good as how 10 is. Absolutely
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
Again, learning. See, again, we are not robots. We are thinking, feeling human beings who go through challenges day in and day out. Your actions cannot be the same every single day. You've got to learn the skill of pivoting when challenges are thrown your way. How do you handle situations? How do you still do something in the face of challenges towards helping yourself,
Yeah.
preserving your mental and emotional sanity? That's again a big thing, Uma. Nobody
Absolutely.
talks about it at all. People generally, when they talk about weight loss, they talk about diet, at most, exercise, and they stop there. Nobody talks about mindset, how important that is to unlocking the results that you seek for yourself. So we're going to get
Totally.
into, the beliefs relating to food, how that can impact the choices that we make. So can we talk about that, Uma? How your relationship and the beliefs you had about food before, and how have they changed now?
Yeah, sure. Like for example, I had these. I would say, for example, I would say like beliefs like if if for example say white rice. அந்த white rice சாப்பிடுறதுங்கிறது ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் மாதிரி. See, so we do bring in a little changes for our own selves, listening to our own body. So change over from white rice to millet or to better options is all. I've always done that. But somewhere, if I ate white rice one day, I would immediately one antenna will go up. Okay, oh my God, I ate that. That is why this happened. But that has broken now. Okay, I mean, once in a while you do eat, it's fine. That is not going to uppity go and sit somewhere and create problems for you. So that has I remember when I would go out to eat, suppose ஒரு கல்யாணம் இல்லைன்னா ஏதாவதுன்னா அன்னைக்கு வந்து ஒயிட் ரைஸ் எல்லாம் நான் சாப்பிட்டு அப்புறம் இந்த நைல் பிள்ளை திங்கிங் அபவுட் இட் ஐயோ நான் இதனாலதான் இப்படி இருக்கு அப்படி அதனாலதான் that today I know that I will eat the white rice, but I know how much I want. In fact, I know when they serve, they'll be like, அவ்வளவுதானா இது போருமா? I'm like, yeah, boss, அவ்வளவுதான். They will be surprised. என்னையா இதுக்கு வந்திருக்க எதுக்கு சாப்பிடுறாங்க இந்த மாதிரி. But the point is about that's just an example I'm saying, or say a sweet, which I don't have a sweet tooth generally. But even if I would eat something, the only association would be weight gain, weight gain, weight gain, weight gain. That has gone, and now it is like I'm eating it because I enjoy it, and eat it, enjoy it, forget it, go on to the next one. அது பெரிய விஷயம் because I know I have been in many situations where I've been judged on depending on my plate, what is there in my plate. I have been through such situations where people have looked at me on my plate and looked at me. I those are very strong impressions I've had because then
Mm.
that will stay in your head because you will always be then brooding on that. Oh my God, judge பண்ற அப்பனா இப்படி சாப்பிடக்கூடாது அப்பனா இவ்வளவு சாப்பிட then you won't be happy. So this is like as a toxic cycle. Now it's like this is what I'm eating. You like it, you don't like it, and so அது வந்து இட்ஸ் ஆல் கனெக்டட் ரைட் இது சாப்பிட்டதுனால நம்ம இப்படி இருக்கோம் அதனால தான் ஸ்டேஜ்ல இப்படி இருக்கும் அப்பா அவ அப்படி ஜட்ஜ் பண்ணுவா இட்ஸ் லைக் இட்ஸ் லைக் நீ ஜட்ஜ் பண்றதுன்னா பண்ணு பிரச்சனை இல்லை நான் சாப்பிடுறேன் எனக்கு பிடிக்கிறதுக்கு எனக்கு எவ்வளவு வேணுமோ எனக்கு தெரியும் so this is to come from there to this has taken a lot of time but I'm here
I
today.
would say I mean, that's like a huge aspect, Uma, what you bring up. I remember join பண்ண உடனே you had a travel and you asked, hey, எனக்கு lassi ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும். Can I have? Remember, Uma?
Yeah.
Can I have
Yeah.
that அப்படின்னு முன்னாடிலாம் நான் சாப்பிட மாட்டேன். இப்ப சாப்பிடலாமா? அந்த மாதிரி you had a
Yes.
question. I said, hey, go for it. You're in that space. You're in that place which serves good lassi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, go ahead and enjoy. And you came and said, hey, I absolutely love that lassi.
Yes, I
அப்படின்னு.
remember that. Mango lassi, I think
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
no, absolutely. Mango also. I've had such a big, very bad relationship with mango also. All that is like now, seasonal fruits, eat it. So, because those are the things I grew up with. இப்படி சாப்பிட்டா அது சாப்பிட்டா correct. I mean, we have to make intelligent choices. We have to make healthier choices that we are aware of. But the point of we should not be at a point where if you do something, you go into one, fear zone, and that fear zone is what I think I'm out of that now. For now, I'm like, I'm not fearful of food. You cannot be fearful of food. You have to befriend it. So, and the befriending, I think now I'm there, I would say.
Wow, you arrived, Uma. Awesome. So happy to hear
Yes.
this. That's like the biggest change. So, for people who are watching us, when you talk about weight loss, we think it's, people talk about diet and exercise and they don't talk about mindset. Most importantly, relationship with food. Unless your relationship with food changes, unless your relationship with your weighing scale changes, unless the way you see yourself, the way you perceive food changes, the weight is not going to come off
Yeah.
because that is constantly going to create so much stress in you, which is going to make you indulge in those eating behaviors that is causing that weight gain. We want to separate these two, work on this, heal our relationships with all of these, and then continue to work on making smart choices. Like Uma
Yeah.
said, equipping yourself with nutritional awareness, that is a separate track. You still need to work on learning how to plate your meals, how to plan and prep your meals ahead of time so that you're showing up consistently. So let's talk about those skills, Uma. How important were those skills for you?
Oh, yeah. Prepping and prepare, meal prepping was something which I have never really bothered about, because I think I've grown up with, my mom is a person who kind of, yeah, of course, we all prepare for the week. ஒரு மாதிரி நம்ம அதை வாங்கி வச்சுப்போம். And then my mother is the type who like என்ன இருக்கோ அதை வச்சு அப்படி பண்ணிடுது, which is also a very nice thing about being flexible. But somewhere the flip side of it is you might not really think of what you want to make. என்ன இருக்கோ பார்த்துக்கலாம். But that is handy at times when you really don't have anything. You can cook up something, because so that comes in the flexibility thing. But then to prepare your mind about what you're going to eat, have a gentle plan in the mind, that really helps a lot of, de-stress a lot. So I think that has really helped. Like, for example, making a general list of what you're going to have, and then keeping things ready accordingly, checking if there's there or not. And I also, one more thing is, sourcing it right from the right places. I think that is something also it's really helped me a lot. Like இப்போ the awareness that what are you eating, even thinking about it. I've never thought about these things also earlier. But இப்போ நம்ம ஒண்ணு பண்றோம், நாளைக்கு பண்றோம்னா இது எங்கேருந்து source பண்றோம், what is going inside, is it good, or is it, are you just doing it because you have to finish your job? அங்கேருந்து இங்க ஷிஃப்ட் ஆகுதுங்கிறது பெரிய விஷயம். So that is one thing I have learned. இல்லைன்னா நான் முந்தியெல்லாம் அவ்வளோ யோசிக்கப்பட்டேன். Why? Because I never gave the time. I never had the time, because I was always trying to prove something. So it's like a dominoes effect, right? It's like ஒண்ணு நடக்கும்போது இன்னும் மத்ததுல எல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் it shows. So I think that is a big change for me. முந்தியெல்லாம் அவ்வளோ நான் இதை பத்தி யோசிக்க மாட்டேன், but not in the sense of, I don't care about it. அப்படி கிடையாது. I should have taken care, which I would never did, because I had no mental time. I was always trying to prove something else. And now this has helped me, really come, kind of, what do you call it? Zone in. to my own self and my health, because I realized that inge seri irundha dhaan mattadhu seriya irukka mudiyum. So it was always from the outer to the in. Now from it's the in from the out to
Wow,
the
very
out.
well said, Uma. From the core, right? So நம்ம சொல்றோம் இந்த மாதிரி even for behaviors, there is this what, how, and why. People superficially work on the what of it. How is
Yeah,
okay. They probably work on the process, but then on the core of it is the why. Why are you doing it? That's very
absolutely,
important to be mindful,
absolutely.
understand how certain actions have deep impacts, and where do you want to create that impact, and how do you want to change it, right? That
Yeah,
pausing, being very mindful, creating structure and system for your meals.
yes,
I think that's a game changer. If you are wanting to root for consistency, that's what you need to work on. Creating a plan definitely helps. Working on your time management skills is something that we also worked
absolutely,
on, right?
absolutely.
Creating time, prioritizing, juggling priorities. It's all about this. When you talk about actions, it just doesn't happen on its own. You need to put in your efforts into creating structure, system, learning
Yes,
what your priorities are. First of all, you topping the list of your priorities, right? That's very important.
yes, yes,
Understanding you
yes,
are a
yes.
non-negotiable entity there, right?
Totally,
And
totally.
so all of these skills
That
that you learned, so happy for you, Uma.
definitely, definitely.
So let's talk about plating skills. I know you started off with a lot of gut issues. How are you today, in terms of gut issues, and how did plating skills help you?
I don't know, gut issues. I'm very surprised. I don't. I'm like, it's negligible right now. I remember telling you about my gut is not okay. My doesn't feel good after a meal. I feel so heavy. I feel, I told you I think I have IBS.
Hmm.
I've always felt that
Bloating.
heaviness, bloating, all that. Even with a small thing. See, water intake was always an issue. You know that about me. Water intake was always an issue, but you gave such simple methods to have water just before eating, while eating, and after eating. That little practices made such a lot of difference. So அதுலயே வந்து gut issues வந்து very negligible now. Like எனக்கு அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு discomfort எல்லாம் இருக்கிறது இல்ல. There are so many things in that actually. The gut issue ஏன் அப்படி நல்லா இருக்குன்னா, one is the water intake, one is how much I eat, plating, that that I can never forget the diagram that you had shared, where there's protein, there is fiber, எல்லாமே ஒரு இதோட ஒரு அளவோட. I think so that is always there in front of me. And so plating
Oh,
itself is an
mindful
art.
eating, Uma. Another thing. Mindful eating
Yes, I'm
skills. அது
coming to that
மறந்துட்டோம்.
next.
Very,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, mindful eating and enjoying what you eat. அதெல்லாம் எனக்கு I've always been this person, ஒரு வேலை முடிக்கணும் அடுத்த வேலைக்கு போகணும், because there was so much to be done. And yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that அதனால இன்னைக்கு நான் productive இல்லைன்னு சொல்ல வரல. I think we also change our perception of what is productivity for us today. I think that I have changed also. For me, earlier on, it was always about பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கணும், ஏதாவது பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கணும், அப்பதான் productive, and I have to prove that I'm productive. I prove that. Today I know that I don't have to prove it to anybody. I should know, I should be clear about what. So the food was always ஒரு வேலை முடிக்கணும். But now it's about mindfully eat it, enjoy what you're doing, and then go to the next one. So that has brought in a lot of clarity and removed a lot of unnecessary things in my life. So I think
Hmm.
mindfulness in general, eating is just one part of it, but that mindfulness kind of permeates into other things also in life. Right? So that's something I've learned. Yeah.
See, the other thing, I mean, when you're having digestive issues, it can impact every single domain that you're in,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Especially being a dancer.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what you would have gone through being
Yeah.
a stage performer and having these kind of gut issues, right? And that must be so freeing for you now, Uma, to be
Yeah.
out of that. Leah.
Definitely. Definitely. It's like I said, it's like ripple effect. It reflects in everything. So நம்ம வந்து ஒரு நம்ம சொல்றது சும்மா இல்ல, listen to your gutங்கிறது it's not a சும்மா சொல்றது இல்ல, because the gut really tells you a lot. And if the gut is not healthy, you cannot really understand what you're really doing. You will not be able to listen to a gut, gut is always making sound. What will you listen to? But if the gut is calm, it really reflects on a lot of things. So I think that is
Absolutely.
really
So when you think about optimum health, performance, function, long-term health, your gut has to be in the right place in terms of health.
helpful.
And there are so many microbes, that are doing some fantastic work inside the gut. And to heal the gut, again, water intake is very important. How you plate your meal is very, very important. Fiber intake, right? That's super
Yes, fiber,
important.
yes. Yeah.
Third important thing is how you eat the meal, eating very slowly, mindfully, savoring every bite, learning the hunger and fullness cues. How
Yeah.
important was that, Uma?
Oh, that was, I should tell you about that because I always see again, there was always a fight in my head about principles. Like even today, my mother will say, don't waste food, which is a very important thing. I understand. So earlier, the struggle was I would have some food on my plate and then I would be full, but then the thing will be I don't waste food. So then I would somehow stuff it up. You waste பண்ணக்கூடாது. But then the plating was not great. The art of plating I had probably not learned. I would just take because I love to eat. Now you know how much you want. So the plating is in place. So then you don't waste. You eat what is there. And even if you do waste a little, your body is right now telling it. Like even yesterday, for example, I had taken my daughter out. It was a
Sasa's
birthday.
birthday, no? Yeah.
So I know that, salad and soup. That was my thing. But I didn't even order a salad yesterday. There was some hummus or something, whatever. The point is, the moment my salad soup is gone inside, my body's like telling me enough. So then there was some pasta, there was some pizza, and I was like, it was finished by the others. I was like very happy with. But why? Because I'm not thinking of you adu irukku, idu irukku, adu irukku illam. No, I'm thinking of what my body is telling me. Yeah, போறோம், yeah. Stop it there. Ayo, that is a big sign, okay, that we
Hmm.
never listen to our bodies or gut. For that,
You
even
can
in
say
life.
that one more time, Uma.
We never listen. We never really listen to our gut or our body. It tells us everything. So I was like very happy. I was like the moment you start listening to it, to zoning inside, you will sort it out. So I was very happy yesterday. So I was like, okay, this is what you have to just listen to it. It'll tell you. That is something I remember you telling me that finish before you actually feel full. So but that only you will do when you're listening. No, if you're distracted by so many thoughts and so many things around you, how will but there mindfulness again. So mindfully eat and then your body tells you, you listen to it. Then that is a very actually very sacred space. My dad eats like that, very
Hmm.
carefully, very slowly, very. But me and my mom, we used to complain about it earlier. ஆமா ஏதாவது நம்ம பேசுறோம்னா எதுவுமே காதுல விழாது சும்மா சாப்பாடே சாப்பிட்டு. But now I'm like, okay, I think that's what we need to do. So,
Did
so
you tell dad? Dad, I'm slowly following your footsteps.
yes, because he would tease me. இல்ல ஆமா இவ ஒரு நிமிஷத்துல சாப்பிட்டு முடிச்சிருவா. நம்ம வந்து பாட்டுக்கு 20 minutes சாப்பிட்டு இருக்கோம். He would tease me sometimes, scold me, or sometimes even, complain about it and all that. Now I tell him, come, போட்டி போடலாம். Let us eat together and see who finishes last. But I think that mindfulness has really helped me a lot. Right? To eat, like enjoy, eat slowly, and then see your body says bye bye. You stop it there. Thanks for that.
Absolutely. So again, the way you eat has deep impacts, not just at the dining table, but also outside. The way you handle stress. If you're a very anxious person, you would naturally be a very fast eater. There is so much science to prove that. So once you start slowing down, you're more mindful, you're reducing your stress, outside of the dining table, and your behaviors will reflect you. When you're a mindful eater, you're mindful in everything,
Absolutely.
and vice versa. If you're a mindful person, of course, it takes a lot of effort and skills and practice to eat mindfully, but then
Yeah.
you will eventually get there because
Yeah.
that mindfulness will fuel every single action and behavior of yours.
Totally.
Um, right? So, and I remember talking about relationship with food and the gut issues, especially Kerala or a trip வரும்போது you were so scared. என்ன
Yeah.
சாப்பிடுறது என்ன ஆகும்? You remember?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's talk about travel related skills, because I know during the course of the 7 months you traveled multiple times,
Yes.
especially the recent one being a very, very long drawn 1 month US trip.
Yeah. US
So
trip.
Let's talk about those skills. How did those skills help you when you were out on travel, Uma?
So one is when I traveled to Kerala, which was in May. So there was a lot of fear, anxiety, as in, oh, every time I travel, I gain weight. Every time because I don't know what to eat, and I do end up eating what is there locally, and I enjoy it, and then but then it makes me gain weight. So this is always this fear psychosis, always in fear. So I spoke to you about it, and then you said whatever is locally available, just have it. And we had already we had been working on the plating. So I kind of followed the same thing, and without fear. That itself was a big thing for me. So வந்து அங்க என்ன அவைலபிளா இருக்கோ அது வந்து அழகா அந்த லோக்கலா அவைலபிளா இருக்கிறத என்ஜாய் பண்ணி ஆனா portions தான் was already my body was used to that. There was this thing of bodies telling you. So that helped me a lot. அதே மாதிரி the next thing I had discussed with you is in my US trip. Every time I went to the US, course நம்ம வந்து ஒரு புது ஒரு இடத்துக்கு போறோம் நம்ம we try different things and we travel with friends and we're trying different things and then this fear of oh I always put on weight when I go out because their food is like this, their food is like that. Yeah, it is very true that when you don't have healthier options, you end up eating what is available. But I think in a way I was luckier this time because I was staying in a house and Indian house and I mean, but this distraction was always there. They had a lot of things, வாங்கி இருக்கும் ஸ்டோர்டா இருக்கும் ஸ்டாக்ட் அப்பா இருக்கும். But my mindset this time was very clear. I was like, I this thing of இது சாப்பிடலாமா அது வந்து ட்ரை பண்ணலாமா. I somehow was very calm in those places. I didn't necessarily feel the need or urge to go and try this, try that. One probably could be that இன்னைக்கு எல்லாமே எல்லா இடத்துலயும் அவைலபிளா இருக்கு. ஒன்னு that could be that one. The other could be that the whole skill of knowing how much what your body needs when and saying no. Talked about that. Saying வந்து இதை ட்ரை பண்ணலாம் இதை பாருங்க this is something very new. Like no, I don't feel hungry now. I don't want it. That saying no was a big thing for me. And then these skills of having water and little things, showing up for your walks. And I really was very surprised at my own self because I would always have that fear. ஐயோ நான் இங்க வந்திருக்கேன் அப்படின்னா இங்க ஏதாவது சாப்பிட்டுருவேன் அது வந்து சாப்பிட்டுருவேன் it is in your control only but you will decide yourself that ஐயோ நான் அப்படி பண்ணிடுவேன் but it is in your hands. So that this time I think it was more in my control. That is a big because we always get confused about hey வெளில போனா enjoy பண்ணியா எல்லாம் சாப்பிட்டியா enjoy பண்ணு and that enjoy பண்ணுங்கிறது is a very deceptive term. I have many, I've had many people in my life who say, hey, enjoy பண்ணியா சாப்பிடு. Enjoy பண்றதுங்கிறது is a very relative term. You can enjoy even healthy food, even make the right choice and enjoy it. Enjoying is only being in that moment and savoring what is going in your body. So that I think I've learned that very beautifully.
Super, you have articulated that so well, Uma. Three important things that I learned from what you're saying, or four things I would love to, talk about. One is thinking about your lifestyle as a diet. It's not about ticking off boxes every single day for every single thing. It's okay to sway this way or that way. It's on a spectrum. You can be a 1 some days. One day you can be a 10. It's absolutely okay. So long as you're not switching off, and sometimes even switching off can help, right, to recover.
Yes.
You're prioritizing your mental and emotional sanity when you're prioritizing recovery, taking rest. Absolutely okay, right? So actually you're not switching off. You're basically just prioritizing your mental and emotional health, right? Which is very, very huge. And food plays a very, very important role in that. It's not just about physical nourishment, but it has to hit the spot for you.
Yes.
Right? Without which you're not going to stay consistent. Again, that's a very, very important thing that I always ask my clients. How do you enjoy your meals? The meals have to be enjoyable, something that you look forward to plating. Otherwise, you're just not going to stay consistent, right?
Absolutely.
So that's one thing. Second thing is enjoying, being a very, very ambiguous term. People say, hey, I'm a foodie. A foodie doesn't have to mean that you have to eat loads of foods to enjoy something. A foodie can be a person who eats variety of foods mindfully and slows down and really savors. That's who I would say a foodie is. It's not about overeating something.
Yeah,
Right?
at this point, I'd like to share something that I remember. I had traveled to another country out of India, and in somebody's house, and then they had given me some food, and I was enjoying what I was eating. And so I got news from somewhere saying that I believe, I mean, she's a foodie. அப்படின்னு யாரோ comment பண்ணியிருக்கா. That was such a big thing for me. Ah,
ஒன்ன சொல்லியிருக்கா. ஓ.
ஆமா. அது வந்து நெகட்டிவா. Like, oh, she's a foodie. So the other implications are, ஆமா, அதனால அவன் நிறைய சாப்பிடுறா, அதனால அவன் நிறைய, he's a dancer. So all those things have really affected me without my knowledge, without me realizing that it is all sat somewhere in my psyche, because you're always judged. So for me to learn, unravel all those things, unlearn, uncondition, if that were a word, that has really helped. And
எவ்வளவு
today,
பெரிய விஷயம் இல்ல. என்னைக்கோ யாரோ ஏதோ ஒண்ணு சொன்னது is just sitting in the head, which is reflecting in your actions today.
Your relationship with food affects because there's something else somebody said. And we are humans. I mean, that is very natural for us. It's easy to say that, yeah, அதெல்லாம் கவலைப்படாத. Yeah, many people can do it. Some people cannot do it because if you're always under a public eye, you will always be thinking about these things. Now I'm like, yeah, I'm a foodie here. I love food. What is wrong with it?
The
So
other
the foodie
important point, please go ahead.
No, the foodie is so looked at as such a negative. There was a negative connotation to it, and to make it a positive connotation, it's in our hands and minds. So that is.
See, and also we using that term as a justification to overeat something. I'm a foodie, so that's why I overeat. You know,
Exactly.
the justifications that we bring about towards our food behaviors, I think we need to really step back, understand how certain identities that we hold to ourselves, like one straight jacket, is actually impacting our behaviors, and be willing to let go of those identities, form new identities for yourself to support the behaviors that is going to help you move towards your goal. Right?
Absolutely.
So the other important thing that I want to bring up here is about pleasure. You know, being okay, allowing yourself for pleasure, but then beyond a point, it doesn't become pleasure anymore. You know, you start eating, you feel satisfied, you're hitting that sweet spot, you know, where you feel like, wow, it's great. Beyond which eating more is not going to give you more pleasure. It's going to start dipping down and getting you into that space of discomfort and feeling uncomfortable, over full, over stuff. And then you feel guilty and miserable. So learning to stop a food at that sweet spot is very, very important. And that's where mindful eating skills help you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
The other important thing you brought about was, no matter what you ate, you were able to still come back without gaining weight because of the mindful eating skills with your Kerala trip or your US trip.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And the other important thing was, saying no did not come from a space of somebody telling you you should not be eating it, or from a space of restrictive mindset, I should not be eating it, but instead using your bodily cues as a guide to tell you, hey, I'm actually okay. I don't need.
Exactly. That was a big shift.
Differentiation between need and want, and what do you need at that point, and what is your body telling you.
Totally. Like, you know, the saying, the no coming from a space where you really don't want it. That's why you're saying no, as against saying no because what will they think if you eat so much, and then craving for it later, you know, after saying a no. Adilende to say no because you don't want it. So that, and because I have been there. I have been at a place where I'll say no because I'm supposed to say no because I'm a dancer. Because if I say yes and if I eat, then they will judge me. So I'll say no. Now to a place where I'll say no if I want to say no. I will say yes if I want to say yes. So that
difficult. You know, I've worked with dancers, and I can really empathize with what you are going through, Uma, because it's not a normal, I mean, regular woman madri illa illaya. I mean, you're also putting on that hat of a dancer in the public eye, constantly in the spotlight, being judged for everything, every action, every single thing that you do. And for you to get to this spot is a big achievement. You should feel really proud of all the efforts that you have put in, Uma.
Yes,
Amazing work.
yes, I would say that.
Um, so let's talk about your aha moments during the course of our journey together.
Ah, well, there have been many, like in the sense, like for example, this one I think of aha. நான் வந்து ப்ரோ கில்ட்டியா ஃபீல் பண்ணாம இது சாப்பிட்டு சந்தோஷமா இருந்து அடுத்த வேலைக்கு போலாமே அதுவே ஒரு பெரிய ஆஹா மூமெண்ட் when eating is concerned. The other aha would be like, to be able to eat slowly was an aha moment because I've always been, as I said, a fast eater. கடகடகடன்னு முடிச்சு அது எப்போ உள்ள போச்சு எப்படி போச்சு ஒண்ணுமே தெரியாம இருக்கும். இப்போ வந்து சேவர் பண்ணி that is a huge aha moment for me. Like, oh God, okay, this is what. So, as you said that, I remember you telling me when you put it in the mouth, you can actually taste each ingredient. அது வந்து இப்பதான் வந்து ஓஹோ, this is what it ஆஹால இருந்து ஓஹோ எல்லாம் ஒண்ணுதான். So it's like this is what we are meeting actually. This is what is going in. Oh, இந்த விஷயம் எல்லாம் உள்ள போறது. பெரிய ஒரு ஆஹா மூமெண்ட் தான் அது.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm kind of reminded of a couple of funny things, working with a few women who said, oh, அந்த இட்லில உளுந்து அந்த அரிசி எல்லாம் டேஸ்டா இருந்து இட்லி இவ்ளோ டேஸ்டி ஃபுட் ஆக்சுவலா I used to hate it. I started
Actually,
loving it.
yeah.
And some
So
vegetables which they avoided because they didn't like it and they used to just chug it in.
yeah.
From slowing down, they actually started liking the vegetable,
Loving
like
it, yes.
pahaka,
Ah, it is pavaka I've never hated, but I'm saying each you actually start realizing, oh, okay, இது எல்லாம் இருக்காது, இந்த டேஸ்ட் ஜாஸ்தியா இருக்கு, இந்த காரம் அதெல்லாம் நான் என்னைக்குமே கவனிச்சதே இல்லை. But this now it's like it's very nice to it's another skill in life. You really learn to know what is going inside and such a big thing, right? So you're giving your body nutrition. So if you don't know what is going inside, it's different. Like, okay, you know technically what is going the podra, the podra, you know what technically you know what is going inside. But while you eat, how it feels, and it's really
That is
taken me
such
aback.
a big piece, Uma. I mean, people miss out on that aspect, which is just being in the moment, enjoying, savoring, loving what you're eating. It brings so much
Yeah,
happiness and contentment, and
absolutely,
reflects beyond the dining table. Like I said, it reflects in
yes,
everything
it
that you
does.
see, everything that you perceive. Just staying in the moment. I
Yeah,
think that's if we are not able to do that, we are missing out so much in our life, right?
definitely.
Um, Please share your feedback about the coaching experience, Uma, the support, the guidance, accountability that you received in the times that we worked together.
Yeah. So initially, accountability is something I always enjoy because I think I've realized over the time that I'm a person. I mean, that also has taken me a long time to accept that I'm a person who loves a group work or somebody to be accountable with. Sometimes that acceptance itself has taken me a long time. Like people would be self-motivated all the time, and I'm a person who gets so motivated with other people around. I'm like that. I mean, and I think that's from there you slowly go to a place where self motivation becomes part of you. But if you're used to working always in with people around you, that becomes your habit. Then to break out of it, and sometimes when at times when you are on a path alone, all alone, it becomes difficult for you. So for me to accept that I accept that I am not that always a self-motivated person. I'm a person who loves accountability, somebody to tell, somebody to talk about it. I am that kind of person. The acceptance பண்றதுக்கே எனக்கு இப்பதான் like, okay, that's okay if we're like that, because I've always been judged for that also earlier. So I'm like, this is what I am. It's okay. I'm like that. So accountability helps, you know. So that and to kind of log those things. I have done that earlier also. I have done the logging earlier also, but somewhere that helped me to understand plating and all much better because நம்மளே வந்து ஒரு பார்க்கும்போது நம்மளுக்கே நம்ம எங்க பாக்குறோம் நம்ம if you don't we generally in general life who looks at what food இல்ல ஏதோ போட்டு சாப்பிட்டு ஒரு வேலை முடிக்கிற மாதிரி பண்ணிட்டு இருப்போம். But the plating helps you actually see what you're so that really helps. So again, accountability is about you. If the பண்ணணும், you have to send it to somebody. that means you become more responsible of what. So that automatically, that responsibility comes, not initially begins with it to be done because you're accountable, you have to show it to somebody. Then from there, it comes back down to doing it because it's supposed to be done for you, not for the other person. So that helped a lot, that accountability. Now, even if I don't use that app, also, no, I don't. I know, okay, this is what it is. This is what I'm supposed to be. I don't have to report in because it become part of you. So that really helped. And I think one the very beautiful thing about talking to you is that you always look at any challenges that we have spoken about. This is what this I'm finding it this difficult. I don't like this, and I don't know what to do with this. So you always empathized a lot. Empathy is very important. That's something I really enjoy. When you say, hey, I know how difficult it is. அது கேட்கறதுக்கே நம்மளுக்கு ஒரு யாராவது வேணும். We don't have people talking. We either have somebody who say, அதெல்லாம் ஒண்ணும் இல்ல, உன்னால பண்ண முடியும். That is also important. You have any people like that also, but you need somebody who says, hey, I completely get what you're saying here. I completely get it. I think, and then take it from there. I think that's something very nice. It's a lovely quality I find. So when speak to you, so the adliye நம்ம வந்து we start becoming kind to ourselves. I'm like, yeah, actually, it's me. Somebody's telling you that it's okay. You're getting that empathy from somebody. Because I have always been all about myself, ruthless. Don't bother about what you feel. But now I'm like, no, it's okay. If you feel this, feel it. And then அது வந்து பெரிய shift. So I really enjoyed that about this program. Whenever I spoke to you, that was something which really stood out for me.
Wow. So moved from being accountable to a coach to actually being self-accountable, self-motivated, right?
Yeah.
And seeing it as not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength, right? Accepting that, hey, I cannot handle this by myself, and it's absolutely okay to outsource it and get some help. எத்தனை பேர் பண்றாவோமா அது முட்டி மோதி நம்மளே பண்ணணும்னு we lose so much time in that. But look at how we have fast-tracked your progress in terms of so many skills that you have learned in such a short time, I would say,
Definitely.
Right? And so that was important to you, being accountable to somebody, so that it helped you form these habits in such a short time. Second important thing is, of course, hearing that feedback
Yes.
helped you actually keep moving ahead, gaining momentum. Yeah.
See, so typically in this program, probably with you and me in this kind of one-on-one case, I would say, typically you wouldn't have probably seen the physically what are the changes that are happening. They're very negligible, probably slowly they're happening. For me, I think this program was most important. Like I said, I came with things I have to lose weight. That's how I came here. But I realized that, boss, that was this last thing. There were so many other things that had to change. So I think for me, that has happened majorly. And probably the byproduct probably may take some more time. And that itself was a big thing for me. எனக்கு நான் வந்ததே அந்த ஒரு I'm a dancer, I have to lose weight. I'm a dancer, அந்த ஒரு mindset ல வந்து. But I didn't realize that I'm also a person. Not the dancer is one part of me, but I have so many other things that have to fall in place. So that is really an amazing thing that has happened. So I would say kudos to you for that, because I think that aspect of my personality had to be looked at, more importantly than the physical part of it. I think that being taken care of, the rest will follow. So I would say kudos to you for that.
Thank you. My pleasure. And so that was a big revelation for you, Leah. The perception of your goals slowly started changing as you started transforming, your mindset, your beliefs, your skills, and understanding, hey, how much more important are these, to help you resolve whatever the other issue is.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And talk about the support that you received, Uma. How did you feel about that?
Of course, I mean, one thing is I've always followed you, especially on social media, and your posts definitely are very at that some days you would be like, "Ayyo, enala mudila," and then you would be, as we all do many times, mindlessly browsing phones, and then come across this one post, and like, okay, maybe I should just push myself. So that that one social media. See, there are many nice things about social media. I mean, though sometimes you do will waste a lot of time, but where you are concerned, I think you use it in a very productive way, and I think that is something I always have looked forward to. And it's very, I mean, I'm amazed at how you create content in the sense of always trying to let the woman understand that, hey, it's okay what you're going through. See, I'm going through this because you went through so much. You had your father's health. So that, in spite of so much, you were there to again support and tell us that, was okay. This is I'm there. This is what you need to do. See, I'm going through this. That itself is a big learning for us. When somebody tells us, "Hey, come on, see, I'm going through this," so you kind of start thinking, "Oh, if she can do it, then why not me?" So these things that really helped me a lot. And then your periodic meetings, like I said, talking to you, thinking of things as not as ஐயோ நான் இது பண்ணவே இல்லையே, oh my god, I'm so horrible. அங்கேருந்து, hey, நான் பண்ணல, but நான் அடுத்த நாள் பண்ணிட்டேனே. Even that day I did this much. I didn't do this much, but I did this. That was a big, huge support. It's like, oh God. Even today, for example, I woke up in the morning at 5:45. I was like, I am going for a walk. அதான் மழை. So because I had the pond trip எல்லாம் போனோம், வந்ததுக்கப்புறம் I had kind of slackened a little bit. My parents were here, my niece is here. கொஞ்சம் we were like doing stuff and all that. But I was like, few days I slackened. I was like, okay, today I'm going to get it. I was like, it's raining. And okay, fine. Then I did my Surya Namaskar. It's like I went to the gym for 20, 30 minutes. Okay, so I managed still. And sometimes the morning window போயிடுத்துன்னா ஐயோ போயிடுத்து, இனிமே என்ன பண்றது? That has changed also. Morning இல்லையா, okay, evening ஒரு quick பண்ணிடலாம், but you show up. So that was a huge learning for me, because I was the type who would say, ஐயோ இந்த மார்னிங் பண்ணவே இல்லை, செய்யணுமையா, இவ்வளோ வேலை இருக்குது, என்ன பண்றது? வேலை இருக்கு, பட் அதுக்கு நடுவில் ஏதோ ஒன்று பண்ணு, டக்குன்னு முடியும். So that really I learned from you.
Thank you, Uma. So the flexible mindset, right? Being flexible again, not sticking to rigid rules, creating a window for yourself where you can show up, looking at things in a different way. Where is the next opportunity, right? Second thing is, of course, the most important skill I would say, I'm sure you will agree, Uma, which is everyone struggles with this. It's a very, very common challenge. A break comes and you don't know how to pick yourselves up.
Yeah.
And that can be a big derailer of consistency.
Yes.
Where are you today with that, Uma?
Oh, I'm very happy where I am, because I think like you said, I do. Okay, we all take breaks, but I think in a way, probably I have picked it up from you also, but you have always applauded me on that. So it's like a two-way thing. I'm like, probably I have also done it, or I have learned it from you. I don't know which way. It works both ways, but I always appreciated the fact that you applauded me on that, because I remember Adula the break on the book. Then when I started, then you would be like, "Oh, you wouldn't give it up. You started it." So it was a two-way thing, and I've always thought that okay. I mean, இந்த பிரேக் கொடுத்தாலே நான் வந்து ரொம்ப பேட்டர் பண்ணுவேன் தனியே, லைக் ஐயோ இப்படி பண்ணிட்டேனே. பட் நான் ஓகே பிக்ட் இட் அப். லைஃபே அப்படிதான், fall down, you pull yourself up and just do that. So that is something I'm loving, because I'm loving the fact that little things, even இப்போ ஒரு the social media I'll put one post in the morning, did you move today? Sometimes I like, why are you doing this unnecessary, showing off or what? Sometimes I like always I think of you like, maybe இதை பார்த்து ஒரு 4 பேருக்கு அது ஒரு இன்ஸ்பிரேஷனா இருக்கலாம், அது நம்மளுக்கே இன்ஸ்பிரேஷனா இருக்கும். So then sometimes you would do it only, oh நான் போஸ்ட் போடணுமோ, சரி இன்னைக்கு பார்த்து பண்ணலாம்.
Good one, Uma. Sometimes அந்த மாதிரி ஆயிருக்கு எனக்கு. I post it because I want to be held accountable. I feel like, okay, some days when I'm not able to show up, this habit of mine has pushed me into doing it. Yeah. Very, true about that. Second thing is, we pick ourselves up, but then we are not giving it credit. That can also be the case, இல்லையா?
Very
talking
true.
about the break, but actually not talking about, hey, what am I doing? I'm actually doing something. Why not credit
Yeah.
myself for that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so long as the
Absolutely.
efforts are there, so long as you're trying, you're winning, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So even a thought counts. Even if it may not show up in action, it'll show up someday. But at least
It
you
will.
thought about showing up is a big deal, right?
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely. அதெல்லாம்
your
யாரும்
action.
அது nobody credits it actually. Nobody, because and then we also get used to that. ஆமா. I mean, to even if you've taken a break, you come back to it. What happened in the break? Even thinking of that also we don't do. And then from where have you come up? And from where have you
Hmm.
risen? Just to see that also. So that nobody does that, and to be able to do that to myself is, I'm like, huge uh change in my
பயங்கர
mindset.
load இல்லையா? பயங்கர load off your
You
head.
feel so free in the mind. Absolutely.
Super. So another important thing that I want to bring up here is, when you feel uh, looking ahead is not helping you, it can be a very big goal, right? And you looking up at the summit may feel like, oh my God, I've got to climb so much, right? But if you were to look back and look at the steps that you have already climbed, right, that can bring you a sense of accomplishment. But that, hey, you know what, it's okay, I will do it someday. But then look back and see how
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 far?
how much. Yeah.
Yes.
And if that
Yes.
doesn't motivate you, look at your current moment. What can you do right now? Because again, your current moment is super precious.
Yeah.
What actions you can show up now, which is going to help you get to where you want to be. So
Totally.
again,
Totally.
we need to keep switching between looking ahead, looking back, looking at the present moment, based on whatever motivates you to show up.
Right. Right. Very true. Very, very true. Very true. And I
Thanks,
mean,
Uma. So
I always look at that. I mean, from where I was to where I am today. Yeah, there are moments. See, we all have a certain, like I said, because I'm a dancer and because of all those things, you always have this. ஐயோ நான் இப்படி இருந்தேன் நான் வந்து இப்போ இப்படி life has changed so much, and today I look like this. But what are the skills that I've learned? So that is something I always tell myself. But okay, but then what were you at that point? What skills did you know today? What skills do you know? How much have you handled in life? How many things have you dealt with in life? In fact, yesterday,
எவ்வளோ challenges அந்த இந்த 7
three
மாசத்துல எவ்வளோ
people,
challenges.
3 people yesterday wished me actually
Ah.
instead of my daughter. They said, "Hey,
Oh,
happy birthday to you because hello, you're a mother for 14 years. It's not a joke." I said,
absolutely.
"Yeah, why don't you look at it like that? How far we've come." So I think that's very important. Uh,
So, talking about skills, Uma, how sustainable do you feel? Because this is always a question in everybody's mind. Okay, I go through the program, but then what next? Is a big question mark, right? How do you feel about the sustainability of the skills?
oh, I feel very comfortable because I feel this is like a skill for life. There's nothing actually. Actually speaking, they are very simple skills. You just have to, and they're very doable. That's why they're very sustainable. You just have to understand the purpose behind it. If you understand the purpose behind what the skill is, then it becomes just part of you. So I think it's very, very sustainable, very simple, sustainable, doable things that you can stick to life, stick to for life. Actually, it's not a big, but rocket science கிடையாது. We are going back to basics. We are more mindful of it. And the mindfulness தான் கத்துக்கணுமே ஒழிய skills are very simple and very doable, very sustainable. There's no doubt about it. And you can
Super,
sustain this through your life.
exactly.
Through your life. Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing that, Uma. Absolutely my mission, because what you go through, whatever transformation you're able to see during the program is not as important as what you're able to see after. That is very, very important for me
Yes.
as a
Yep.
coach. I want you to succeed in life, not just during the time that you work with me and then say a goodbye. But then if you were to meet me even 5 years later, I want you to tell me, hey, Srividya, I've not forgotten all of these skills. They are a
Right.
part of me, and I'm seeing continued progress from
Right.
putting more time into it. So putting more time into this is what is going to yield more progress, right?
Yes.
So I'm always very, very curious about that. Please
Absolutely.
stay in touch, Uma, always giving me
Definitely.
updates, and I will definitely do
Definitely.
that as well.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
if you can share, Uma, what was the best part about me as your coach? What did you lean on me for in terms of skills?
Like I said earlier, I think every time there was something new you told me to start, which was a new skill you taught me, which was very doable, very small, short term goal, and sort of something which is small and doable, but that little change. So I think that is something I really look forward to. This time, what is the change I have to bring in? So, அது வந்து கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா, sometimes when a big task is given, you will end up not doing it. But here it was like, little by little, little by little. I think that is something I really, you know, enjoyed and relied upon you, because I knew that, okay, this is one skill. The next time, add on this one more skill. So that was very interesting. You would say, what do you think you can? And the best part I think about you is that you would tell me, you would ask me, what do you think you can do? So that makes you also, it is not like you're blindly listening to somebody and okay, பண்றேன் அப்புறம் பண்ண முடியாம இருந்தா ஐயோ இது பண்ணணுமே இல்லாம, you would ask us to think for ourselves. What do you think you can add on? Can you do this? So shall we work on this? So I think that the whole, it looks like you are guiding, but actually you are tapping our own potential in a way that it like you are facilitating that, the thing to happen. So that is something very interesting, because at the end of it boils down to the fact that you are telling us, boss, it is all in your, it is all in you. You just have to learn to tap into it. So that's something which was very interesting. You would ask me, do you think we can do this? Shall we do work around this? Shall we add this little thing? Shall we add this? Shall we start this drinking water before? Will you remember to this? So little thing that very interestingly done. So I think அது ஸ்லோவா அது வந்து சிஸ்டம்குள்ள வருதுங்கிறது நம்மளுக்கே தெரியாம அது வந்து ஒரு சின்ன பழக்கம். It was that was something I really enjoyed with this program.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Uma. So the tiny habits concept, having a structure for the skills, and putting you in the driving seat of your life and telling
Yes,
you,
yes,
right?
yes. That's precisely
Asking
what it
you
is.
what is it that you think you can do, giving you that agency, feeling like you have the autonomy to your choices, because
Totally.
that's what is going to make this sustainable. Because
Absolutely.
I'm not going to be there forever, right? In terms of coaching you all the time, but you have to make those choices. And how do I empower you to do that? By giving you that space to pause and think for yourself, what are you capable of? And leveraging your own strengths that you carry,
Exactly. Like instead of like, இப்போ sometimes you would say, என்னோட dietitian வந்து இது பண்ணி சொல்லியிருக்காது, நான் அதை பண்றேன். அது இல்லாம, you have made that such a part of that whole process is such that you've made us accountable, and think about what we can do. So it doesn't feel forced. It's just, you're just kind of nudging us into that action which we ourselves have chosen, sort of a thing. So it's quite a interesting way to, I think I learn a lot from that. When as a teacher, as a dance teacher, probably if I'm teaching the student, maybe I have to be mindful of what the child can do, a student can do, and slowly nudge them through that. One way of doing it is an authoritative way. இதுதான் பண்ணணும், நீ வேற வழி இல்ல. One way is, what can that person do? That person can do this. Maybe let us try and nudge her. Can you do this? Let's try this. So I learn a lot through this also. So it's a nice learning lesson for me, even as a teacher, and as a educator. So it's really nice. I really enjoyed
Appreciate
that.
your openness to share that, Uma. I really appreciate that honesty in you, where you learned so much, where you could apply this in your professional space. And it creates such a beautiful, positive experience and a positive environment, Ilya.
Yes,
Focusing on
yes.
strengths and helping that person do that really well is great. Is good enough to see the results you seek. It's going to outweigh the weaknesses in time. right?
Totally.
Why? I mean, we are not going to let the weaknesses slide by. We are also going to slowly motivate you to work on those weaknesses so that you can build your stress tolerance and face ability to face challenges,
Yes.
right? But focusing on strengths has enormous impacts.
Totally.
Right, and இது இப்படி ஒரு அனாலஜியா திங்க் பண்ணணும்னா லைக் இட்லி மாவு அரைக்கிற மாதிரி தோசை வடை மாவு, ரைட்? கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா நட்ச் பண்ணி அந்த மாவு அரைச்சிட்டு யூ மேக் அ தயிர் வடை. தயிர் வடை ஊறி ஊறி அந்த ஹேபிட்ஸ் எல்லாம் ஸ்கில்ஸ் எல்லாம் ஊறி அப்புறமா சாப்பிடும் போது நல்லா இருக்கும். சோ அந்த மாதிரி டைம் போக போக things are going to you're going to unlock amazing impacts in all deep health domains, Uma. I wish you the best, and you've been amazing. Your commitment, your open communication, our conversations is something that I always will reminisce. And your enthusiasm to adapt and be willing to learning new skills, being very open-minded about it. And we talk about cognitive flexibility. The ability to change is very, very important. Not everybody has that skill. Of course, that is a skill that can be learned through the process of introducing tiny habits. But I see you as a person who can really adapt. I think being a dancer, having gone through so many challenges and has played an important role in helping you in this self-discovery and self-improvement process as well, Uma, right?
Definitely. It takes a lot of honesty also to be able to discover good and the bad things within you. So somewhere this has helped me think a lot. The whole program.
Absolutely, it takes a lot of boldness to face you. மத்த வெளியில இருக்கிற challenges. No, I can hear you. Hello, can you hear me?
No, I think for me thing is frozen, but I can hear you.
Hello, is it better? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, what I was saying was வெளியில இருக்கிற challengesலாம் நம்ம face பண்ணிடுவோம், but the internal challenges, the internal environment, right? I mean, that takes a lot of courage and boldness, Uma. Hello? No issues.
Same thing happened with you. Yeah. Is that okay now?
Uma, yeah, absolutely fine. So, Uma, what message would you like to share with the women who are watching this? But before that, I would like to ask you, we talked during the second conversation is when you actually decided to sign up, right? What was the trigger behind making you sign up? What helped you sign up for the program?
Frankly, it was desperation at that point. And so desperation because nothing was working. So that, I mean, frankly, that was my only, like, this is something I'm going to just try, and that's it. That's the last one. I'm not going to do anything else. So desperation la na vandene. But I realized that the desperation was there because I had not really addressed so many issues around the whole thing. So that so this program came at a very crucial time. I mean, probably I would say I took it up at a time when I really needed it, because it in many aspects of life. So the only reason I came to you again was desperation to begin with. And also, of course, I mean, I would see success stories everywhere, and I was like, all the more it brings you desperation. பட் அது ஏன் நடக்க மாட்டேங்கிறது, அந்த ஒரு ரியலைசேஷன், அந்த ஒரு இன்சைட் எல்லாம், அது ஒன் ரீசன் இஸ் த பிசிக்கலா ஏன் நடக்க மாட்டேங்கிறது, பட் சோ மெனி அதர் லிட்டில் திங்ஸ் ஆர் ஆடிங் அப் டு இட்ங்கிறது அப்புறம் தான் தெரிஞ்சது. ஸோ ஐ திங்க் that is something I slowly clear about. So yeah, I did come to you with,
Awesome.
it's like no other option. I am like, I don't know, I just want to get this done sort of. But through the process, so many other things got revealed is something it's amazing.
Super. So, Uma, what message would you give the women who are hesitating to invest in themselves, take care of all of these aspects that you have been able to experience through this program? என்ன மெசேஜ் ஒன்று கொடுப்பீங்க நீங்க?
See, the only message I would say that is we really have to learn the difference between being selfish and being prioritizing yourself. I think that is something, it's a deep conditioning that women generally in India don't uh, have a clarity about, because it starts with you. Everything starts with you. If you don't prioritize your health and your mental, physical, emotional health, it will reflect in everything else around you. So I think women have to really take this in their hands and seek that help when somebody's there to give that help. Seek that help and prioritize yourself, prioritize your mental health, most importantly, and also the physical. It's all it's all part of one whole. And I would really tell them to not think of themselves as people who cannot people who can do everything by themselves. No, you don't have to be that superwoman. You can be a superwoman even by seeking help. You're still a superwoman. Yeah, you're already handling so much. Yeah, so please seek that help, please, and become a bigger tribe. No, it's so nice to be learning something from somebody and then empowering somebody else with that. So do that. I mean, go for such don't think that you can handle it all by yourself. You should seek help, because otherwise that whole load எடுத்துன்னு போறதுங்கிறது it's really you're going to be burnt out one day. So please seek help when somebody's giving you that help. Take it and don't feel guilty about it. And yeah, guilt is something that women should not at all live in. It's a wasted emotion. Please don't live in that. And take charge of your lives. I think it's very important. It's of utmost importance. Everything else falls in place eventually. Yeah, I know, but I mean, we also have to be privileged to be able to take such programs. There are many women who are not able to. That is also understandable. But if you are in a position where you can afford to, you just have to change your mindset and bring it to yourself a little bit. Be a little selfish there. Then it's not selfish. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not being selfish. People think it is being selfish, but I think it's important to reach out to take to the help, all the help that is given, and be in the moment, and just all those skills really are going to help you in everything in life. So go for it. I think it's important.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Really, really powerful message, Uma, in terms of learning to take care of yourself, letting go of the guilt, and being okay seeking help. That's a big thing. அதுவே ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு மைண்ட் செட். I remember a recent conversation, somebody who was saying, hey, I went through a lot of diets, why do you think this is going to help me, or something like that. I said, and I want short term results. I said, this is the behavior pattern that you're stuck in. The fact that you're going to sign up itself means you're getting out of that belief system that, hey, I want this diet, I want diet charts and I want short term results. அதுவே ஒரு பெரிய விஷயம். அந்த மாதிரி people are caught in so many beliefs because of past conditioning, past experiences, that puts, like you said, யாரோ எப்பயோ சொன்னது அது வந்து இப்ப உட்கார்ந்துட்டு இருக்கு. That is driving your actions, right? அந்த மாதிரி we have to recognize what behavior patterns we are caught in that is not helping us move towards our goal. And being okay to get out of that belief and change by, again, only an action can change that belief. சும்மா ஒரு தாட்ல மட்டும் அது இருந்ததுன்னா it's not going to do anything, because it's not going to build any confidence or self belief, right? They implement. And Thank you so much for sharing that, Uma. I'm sure a lot of women will benefit. We appreciate your
Yes,
frankness, and
thank
really,
you.
it was like going through everything. We remembered every single aspect in the
Yeah,
journey. So beautiful to
definitely.
go through that.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
guiding, in little aspects which really make a huge difference. Thank you so much. I would really like to thank you for that. Thank you for hand holding, through these moments. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Uma.